So, hello everyone, and welcome back to Factorio. I'm gonna click resume, and let's see what was going on last time. Iron shortages, it looks like. Also, somehow these got out of range of drone connection. I don't know how that happened. Let's fix that. Might as well. Alright, so we clearly have an iron ore problem. We do have iron ore on the way, but we need it to be closer than on the way. We need it to actually be physically present. So let's see. There's convenient iron ore up there. There's a lot over there, but it's kind of far away, and those are basically it as far as good sources of iron go. So let's head over there, all the way over to the east, and pick that up. Although, actually, I wonder if it's a distribution problem, actually, because this one has a lot of iron. And they don't have the thing that sets priorities correctly. So that might be part of the problem, but I think just adding more iron is going to be very helpful as a solution to that. It's not like adding more iron is going to hurt things. Unless things go really weird. Oh. Was worried that train was going to hit me. Fortunately, it took a turn. Alright, so we are continuing to walk over this way. And just keep on walking. It is quite the journey. Actually, another thing was we had at some point unlocked... Had we unlocked the spider mech thing? I feel like we did. It's not available in the text, so we must have. Let's see if I can find it in here. Yes, the Spidertron. So we have unlocked that. So am I just blind and not seeing it in this? Or is it's in vehicles, not military? Alright, I want to make a Spidertron at some point because that seems cool and useful to have. But we're going to set up this iron patch first. Oh, we're definitely going to get hit by a train on this. Actually, there are no trains up here right now, which is a little bit weird. But I guess fine. I guess the train is just doing something else. Alright, so what we need is we need to take this train branching off before it reaches that. So let's get you. And then we're going to have to get the other half. It's going to be like down there. Alright, that should be a good start. There's a random biter crawling over. Now we just have to get this stuff over here onto the ground. And it is technically possible for biters to run along these paths and cause some mischief. I really doubt they're going to do that when this is right here, though. Alright, so the ore patches are just south of me down here. And don't want to let the drones get stranded. That would be bad. Alright, so let's just get rid of some foliage to make this all a lot easier. And it's gonna take a while for my construction bots to handle all of that. But they're getting there eventually. And there we go. So now they all apparently have assigned construction bots, and this whole area can be cleared out. Alright, so there are biters over there, and there's an attack coming right up there. It should ignore me here, but I don't want to spend too long before I set up defenses. So the first thing we're going to need to do is drag power along. Gosh. Why is it dark? Don't I have night vision goggles? Or did all that drone stuff use up my batteries? I guess that is possible. Who knows? Alright, anyways, we're dragging this power line down, and hello, woods, please let me through. Trees are so annoying. Alright, so now we have power lines in approximately the relevant areas. And they're all placed. Alright, so next up is to get a wall in just in front of that. And then finally a whole bunch of laser turrets defending the wall. Alright, so we have that. We're going to have to extend it around the top. Just go something like that. And then block off this secondary iron patch as well. Okay. Someone get those two. Oh, we're missing some stuff still. So we're going to need to put in some gates. So let's just craft up a whole bunch of those. Alright, so now we can get out through here. Oh, that's not good. That biter attack almost saw me, which would have been quite a problem, because I definitely can't fight that many biters on my own. Instead, they're just going to ram into the defenses and get zapped. Alright, now we bring drone coverage down so that this whole thing can get properly built and defended. Alright, so that is far enough up to handle everything. Now we need defenses along this northern wall. So let's get this in, and I might want to just dismantle some more of these stupid trees. Yeah, let's do that. Just get rid of every tree-related thing in the vicinity. And we're going to have a whole lot of drones come over and pick all of these things up. Because we have... Our trash slots are very much overflowing at the moment. Alright, I don't like that power line runs outside the wall for so long. And I also don't like that it literally just intersects the wall at one point. Alright, so that should be enough there, and then we just build over that with that. And then connect it up that way. Alright, so hopefully that is good enough. And the drones have shown up to clear out my inventory, so that's good. Let's get rid of all this junk. And then we can also start with miners. Do I have... This is like a really not compact version, which I guess is fine. So we're just going to grab all of this, and technically missing a little bit there at the end, but that's fine. And then we head down here and we get all of these, which we do want to be pointing that way. Alright, now that we have miners in here, it looks like the biters have started to give some attention and show up. Alright, that should be hopefully enough coverage there to get most of the patch. At some point we'll have to do more, but it should be fine for now. Let's get this just so that nothing weird happens. Don't want them to get around the corners like that. Okay, and then the last thing we need is a self-loading gun, which can go in there, and I guess I have to supply the artillery here. Let's craft a whole bunch of them so that I don't have to do that next time. The good news is that the artillery is sort of the last thing that has to go in, because we need the shells to show up before we can even do anything with it. Alright, so all of this is getting built. The fast transport belts don't need to be fast transport belts. They could probably be just fine as express transport belts. Alright, there we go. We did get the artillery gun in. And this is still going. Still going. Our trash slots have mostly been cleared out, though, which is nice. Also, why do I have 3 artillery shells myself? Did I ever set that? Oh, I set that to be 0. Okay, and then the inserter isn't showing up because it's a regular inserter instead of a fast inserter. Well, let's fix that. So we do want this gun to start shooting as soon as possible so that it can get its reload as soon as possible. And that should get rid of this little biter nest there, which is right next to us. And then probably trigger crazy attacks on everything. But we should be able to hold out. They're not even going for this. They're going up. These ones are coming in, though. That's good. I do love it when they split their attention. Gosh, the amount of drones flowing across that ocean is kind of crazy. And these trees are very, very good at stopping biters. I am currently playing just the base game. I plan to get Space Age once I'm done with this playthrough. But I want to just experience what it was like first, and then see what the DLC adds afterwards. Alright, so we have all this. We are going to need to make sure that that uses both, no, it uses both sides of the belt, like that, for the sake of efficiency. And then we are going to need to get trains down here. And the biters are still attacking, so maybe this isn't the safest possible time to be doing this. But it'll be fine. So we need to start with just getting the station itself in, which is going to be something like this. Actually, that's probably too far up. It'd be better to be in like this. And we're probably going to have to move the defensive line up to cover this. If the biters do seem to like attacking from this direction. Hopefully that'll change. But hopefully they'll just continue attacking into this wall and then we won't have to do that. But we might need to expand the wall upwards. These freaking trees, man. Just go away. This is going to make this area a lot less secure because trees are very good at holding back biters. But I just need to be able to see what I'm doing. And ideally, this is an area which isn't even going to be attacked at all. Because it's where my trains are. Alright, so we have the train in. We have this loader set up here, which is the nice space-efficient one. So that goes in. Do I have any train stops in my inventory? I do not. Let's craft some. So you go in just like that and get set as iron ore output. There we go. And then, yeah, the trains are not going to be able to find their way here. And then some drones are bugged. Both of those are things which we will worry about later. Okay. Wait, is this backwards? I might need to put the train stop station in the other way. Which direction are these lines going? Okay, so the bottom one is coming in, so this is in the correct way, and I'm about to get murdered by biters. Quick, in the gate. There we go. That was a little bit scary. Alright, so we are definitely going to need to expand this wall out to cover more space, but we're also going to need this to turn around, so I'll wait for that to figure out how much space I need to cover in front. So this just curves around like that, while this just goes up like that. So let's get all of these rails in. Some random drone somewhere has been assigned to that. Don't know where. But it'll happen eventually. Alright, so then we attach... Why would you do that? Just, I guess, we're going to have to move the power lines. Let's get that in quickly before everything explodes. Okay. We also have to get that in as well. It was cut off in two separate places. Fortunately, we weren't actively using the laser defenses at the time, so we're fine. And now we just connect you up to there. Man, that has got to be like the least effectively placed power line I've ever done. It's just in the way in every possible scenario. Alright. So that is all in. Biters are getting zapped. Now we need this to go out this way and up. Hopefully just up through there. Hopefully that'll be good enough. And then we run our power line. And then put in all of the laser turrets that we're going to need to defeat the behemoth biters that are probably going to be the ones attacking here. And then we're just going to do that so that it's harder to flank. And hopefully they don't go too crazy out of their way to attack, and that will be good enough. Alright, there is a train that is heading here, but it seems to be jammed. We might not have good signals here because when I built this, there was only one thing going here. Right, in the meantime, we need to get this all set up as well. So that wall is no longer necessary. And we're going to leave the laser turrets there just, you know, as an extra line of defense. Power is not a concern at the moment. So having some spare laser turrets lying around isn't going to break anything really. But having an open way for the biters to get into my iron ore very much could break something. Alright, we need to just upgrade planner all of that. And probably all of that as well. Didn't miss any, did I? Nope, we're good. At some point I need to go through and make my blueprints, remake all of my blueprints with the faster belts so that I don't have to use the slower ones. But for now, this is what we're doing. And also this line is disconnected because of that. So we can put that in. And now we have really what looks like 1.5 solid belts of iron coming out here. Alright, now for these signals. We're going to need signals there and there at the very least. And we are going to need to do some signals on this bit over here. And hopefully not get hit by a train once we get it working. Alright, so we're going to need path signal going into that. And some just other signals in various places. Okay. We managed to avoid getting hit. And now we have a train loading up at that new iron ore patch. Alright, now let's run back real quick while we're hopefully not going to get hit. And we are nice and relatively safe back in this part of the factory. Let's just check while we're right here. Let's check that nothing horrible is going on with nuclear power. Production is still good at the moment. We still have a nice solid box full of fuel cells. And our waste disposal is also functioning properly. So then we have to head down a little bit, a couple squares over this way, to check on this. Alright, so in terms of this, we've got a box full, not quite. We've got a box not quite full of the good uranium. We've got plenty of this backed up. And this is slowly recycling. We're not using much uranium, just like basically as fast as this can recycle it. So we might technically... Yeah, actually we probably do. We probably need another centrifuge on enrichment. Because this one is the only source of green uranium at the moment, basically. Well, more importantly, it's the only way of getting rid of the worse uranium, which is not ideal. So let's figure out how to fix that. Actually, if we just take some of you guys, set you to that, and you can grab from that side and from that side, and obviously dismantle that, and then output back up to that. Then, okay, do I want this to just be constantly looping? Is that going to cause problems? Alright, so you, I only want you to be sending the 235 around so that this guy can have all of the stuff that it needs. So now that we have 2 of these on refinement, we're getting rid of more of the 238, which hopefully will be fine. It hasn't been a problem for ages. It's probably just not an issue at all. But it is always possible for this to be like very, very slowly draining. And we don't want that. So now that we have another one of these going, that shouldn't be an issue. And I can actually just take you and do the same thing. So you, we don't need that. Need to get rid of that. Give you an output. And then we need to get that guy powered. Alright, so this should be much better now. I don't know if the constant cycling is going to cause problems. Also, how did you get in there? How did that happen? What is that stuff? Why is that here? Okay, where did it go? Why is sometimes it disappears and sometimes it shows back up again? There should be no way of the 238 getting on this line. I'm going to pick that up and put it somewhere in here. Are these all full? Yeah, these are all completely full. Unsurprisingly. Oh, this needs to be facing that way. That's important in order for this to work. Alright, so now we have 3 of these going, getting rid of uranium-238, making 235. So that shouldn't make a difference, but it might. And then over here on the waste reprocessing, these guys are doing just fine as is. The second one isn't even being used. So we're not having any problems disposing of the waste. What do they make with it? They make... Okay, that could eventually be a problem, which is, of course, why we have all of this set up. So it should be okay. I think we're fine. Although, is this low? No, this is doing fine. And there's another train heading here at the moment anyways. Alright, so it really looks like we should be doing fine here. We have an iron ore train stopping in one of these. That's a bit unusual, but it did find its way out again. So we only have so many iron ore inputs, so It must be that just coincidentally both of these had trains in them. This one was apparently running as of pretty recently. And it has a train on its way now. Okay. Is that attack a problem? Where are you? I saw an arrow down to the south. Oh, they've gotten into this. Okay, that's fine. It's not ideal, but it's fine. They managed to wipe out... I don't even know why that electrical pole is there. You don't need to exist. So the actual base proper was only mildly scratched. Looks like we have a missing wall there in this blueprint. Let's pop that back in. Alright. I think we're mostly secure from biters at the moment. If we can just get the iron ore all sorted out, that would be great. So this is going... It's filling up. Well, I want these to fill up as much as possible so that they can load trains basically instantly. Because the longer a train sits there loading, the less efficient this is. And speaking of trains sitting there loading, we have a deadlock. Got it. Okay, so this train is here loading up on crude oil, whereas these trains are trying to get to the iron. So what we actually need is to make this a proper T intersection instead of just a lazy one. So you get that. You are going to need to be there. And we don't need this path because nothing would ever go that way and that way. Alright, so the buildings are in. It will be fixed for next time. And then it's just a question of getting this stuff fixed. So we can just skip you ahead in your queue to get you out of the way, and then it'll all be solved. Or will it, because you're in the yellow section. Great. How do we solve that? We need to get you out of that section. So, okay, what we need is we need more signals in this area. So with that signal, this guy can head into the blue, and then this guy can move past. And then we are going to want you to be a path signal. You should have been that to begin with. I don't know why I didn't put that in. And then you get a chain signal, or just a regular signal, block signal is what it's called. Alright, so this should put in that block signal and get this all unstuck. So you go up there. That leaves space for you to go into the iron. And for you to leave. And then once you're gone, you can go and all sort it out. And in the future, trains leaving this will be going down that way and not have to interact with the oil deposit up there at all. Alright, that's that problem solved. And how is this going as far as iron is concerned? It's got like a couple boxes with a lot left in it, but it's overall pretty low, and the train is heading to the other one. Why is it heading to this one? This one already has a train in it. Yikes. The amount of iron that we need for this factory is just so insanely high. I really did not mean to make a mega base, but here we are. Alright, how are you going? We don't even have any trains on the way to either of them, which is quite strange. We don't have any that are stuck. I mean, they're all either explicitly waiting at a stop or they're going somewhere. This one is heading to the other input, as is this one. Where are you going? Oh, you are coming here. Wait, is that a third? That is just a third iron ore thing that I didn't know about. I didn't even realize I had 3 and it's still not enough. That's crazy. Alright. There goes that little artillery wagon. I don't think it's being useful, but at least it's having fun. That's the important part. The important part is that everyone has fun. And the important part is that the iron ore shows up on time, which it seems to be doing there and here. This has iron ore, and this has a train delivering iron ore, although it's just left. Alright, I think we might finally be on top of the iron ore situation. For the first time in absolutely ages, we're absolutely finally filling our 3 stops. So that's pretty neat. This one is not fully efficiency moduled. Are they all not fully efficiency moduled, or productivity moduled is what they're actually called? I feel like productivity module is the worst possible name for it, because like the machines are objectively less productive. They do less stuff per minute, but they're more efficient because they use less resources. So that's what I would call it. But I don't know, maybe I just have a weird naming scheme. Alright, so that should be that all set up. Now, are the rest of these like that too? Yes, they are. So this will help with the ore problem a little bit. Although if we have a problem with production speed, then this will make it marginally worse. But we just can't be wasting all the ore. Alright, so those modules are all in. And let's check on the module production area, actually, because it's a bit complicated. And yeah, we've definitely broken it. So this is absolutely non-functional. But at least we have this stuff over here making productivity modules, so it's fine. Yep, it's fine. We're just going to ignore that. Let's see here. The red circuits are missing green circuits. The green circuits are going as fast as they can with iron plates. And these ones are dead because of no iron plates, which hopefully we will get soon. Okay, also these need to be more productive. All of you get to be productivity module 3s. And are there... Let's see here. It's just that one and this one. Is this one productivity module 3s? Yes, it is. Alright. So with all those modules in, the green circuits will be produced more efficiently, which means we'll get more of them. And then hopefully that will help this whole thing get done. Is this set up with these? It is. But we have a deadlock. Wonderful. Alright. I do love me some deadlocks. Let's go over and fix this. Typically, the way you have to fix these is just by driving some trains manually out of the intersections. Gosh, if only I had used more chain signals when I designed all this stuff. Alright, so now we are in approximately the right area. Now, I don't know how you got into the intersection, considering you had to go past chain signals to get there. Oh, it's because of this little shit. Right. Okay. Where are you? There's a signal, like, in there, which is not supposed to exist. Alright. So, let's see how much we can do by hopping in you, setting you to manual, and just sort of driving you somewhere. Now, I happen to know that this is a safe path, so you can go off that way. Alright, we seem to have fixed that. So that's pretty cool. There is, however, another guy in an intersection over here, which should not be allowed, and it's your fault. Alright, so that should prevent future incidents from happening at this specific intersection as well. Hopefully. There are a lot of just like random signals placed wrong, but that's fine. Oh, I almost got hit by a train there. Alright, so this is all functioning again. And that should be fine. Blue circuits are not going great because of a lack of green circuits, which continues to seemingly just be the main problem here. And now the green circuits are short on copper wire, which makes more sense than being short on plates, because we use like 10 trillion copper wire to get anything done around these parts. And the copper wire is struggling because of copper plate input. So is the other copper wire... I'm pretty sure I have another copper wire thing down here. Yes, and you're also... I mean, you're doing fine-ish. But we definitely need the additional iron plates, or copper plates, rather. So is that a production side thing? Like, is this enough? I mean, that looks like this is being properly fed with ore. How about this one? So this one is just deadlocked, so it's not actually a problem then? I guess it might just be an interruption because of that deadlock earlier. So there should be a train coming here, but there isn't. Alright, I think we just need an additional copper plate train then. So let's just get one of those in. There's a station here I guess we can use. And hopefully a train doesn't come into here at this exact moment. Alright, you get to go to copper plates group. Automatic. And have fun with that. Alright, meanwhile, apparently sulfur production is messed up, so we don't have petroleum. Because of course we don't. Why would we ever have petroleum? Let's see here. Our petroleum production is Is it just this one square? Yes, and it is capped out. Alright, so there's a train waiting at this petroleum output, which isn't really giving much of anything. Because... wait, what does this do? Is this meant to be a petroleum output and I just never got it connected? What is this? This must be intended as a second... yeah, okay. Okay, so what happened here is I never connected the output pipes up to the output. Must have gotten distracted midway through or something. So we can just get that. And hopefully, is this correct? So it's advanced oil, then it's heavy oil to light, then light to petroleum, and yeah, so this should be correct. We're just going to need to get all this stuff in, and then we're going to need another fluid train for petroleum, because we need to make sure that they stop correctly at all of the available stops. So there you go. You get assigned to the petroleum group and set to manual. And you get some solid fuel. Oh, that didn't get placed in properly. I have to step slightly closer to it, put it in there, and off you go. Alright, so that should just make sure that we have enough trains to load in all the stations. And also this has just gotten some petroleum, so that's nice. I'm not even sure where that came from, but not gonna complain. We weren't really short on sulfur, but I mean, we weren't exactly completely capped out on it either. So that will keep us going for at least a little bit. And then in the meantime, we go over here, and this now does appear to be producing petroleum gas. So that should be fine, because this is now filling up with all that stuff. And that is that problem solved. We also have a train loading up here as well, which I feel like this place needs more fluid tanks. Can I... where's the button for that? Because these store 25k each. These store 50k each. So if we want to store enough petroleum gas to be able to instantly fill a train, we would need 2 of these per train, which I guess we can just set up, but they have to be connected right. Oh no. I've broken the entire system. Alright, so that is what happens when you just simply click the wrong button. Get rid of all the crude oil in that entire system. Oh, I got rid of all the crude oil in that part of the system too. Whoops. Alright, well that was horrific. I have to get rid of all that. So now it can start making petroleum gas again. I really, really dislike that pipes just automatically decide that they feel like connecting up, when they really should not do that unless I explicitly tell them to. Because now we have to do all this over again. We're just gonna go over this way this time. And that is going to mess with our petroleum gas production quite a lot. But we did get a fresh delivery of crude oil, so it's fine. Alright. Should be all fine. Okay, back to the green circuits. How are they doing? Still not running. How are the copper plates doing? Still fine. The copper wire is still using all the copper plates. That one seems to be running just fine. Head over here. This one is short on copper. So this is just like about to run out any second now. There isn't a train on its way. So that is no good. And then up here, this is still doing fine, at least for now, but it's unclear how long that'll last. This is stopped. Still no sign of any copper plates. Okay, this needs to be productivity. I closed the map. If you hit the button one too many times, it closes the map, which is not what you want. Alright, so these are all going to be more productive, which should help a lot with the copper. It'll slow it down a little bit, but we can compensate for that if it's an issue, because there's still tons of room in this square. And it'll make it more efficient, which means it'll run more consistently around the clock between deliveries of copper plates. So yeah, productivity modules, despite what it looks like, can frequently make things produce faster. Alright, so that's going. And the modules are going in. And the wire is coming out. So we're filling up the train. It is super fast. And hopefully that can just manage to keep up. This is making petroleum gas, and just like the other one, we're going to want to have more fluid tanks for this. There we go. So now it'll basically never run out of storage space. And it can just keep on producing petroleum gas until we can have enough to fill up a train and then some. So that will help there. Alright, so what is this doing? This is our blue circuits, and it is currently going fine. We have green circuits in here. And they're getting used incredibly fast, but we do have them. And we are even getting more deliveries. So this is set up to the priority limiter, which means if this is getting deliveries of green circuits, we actually just like have enough green circuits, because this was not a high priority. It's not empty, basically. which means that theoretically nowhere that uses green circuits is empty, unless I've forgotten to connect them up. Like this one. I forgot to connect this one up. And it's lower priority because it's the default priority of 50. So yeah, we need to get a priority setter on this. So you go in like that. And then we connect you up to that. And we connect... Yeah, I'm not trying to connect the tree up to the wire, obviously. I'm trying to connect the stupid thing right behind the tree. Someone there. Thank you for getting rid of that annoying tree. Alright, now we connect to all of these chests. And we then go up here and click Set Priority. Alright, so now this should be getting delivered green circuits, and this one was already set up, and as such is doing fine. So that'll be red circuits being produced. What's going on in here, by the way? This is our science stuff, and it is short on rocket fuel. So I believe the rocket fuel we had just sort of taped onto this. And it's not getting any solid fuel. Actually, like, none of this is getting any solid fuel. Oh boy. That's a problem. So where do we make solid fuel? Does anyone know? Solid fuel, solid fuel, solid fuel. I thought this makes solid fuel, but it's not running right now. Why are you not running? Output full of heavy oil. Okay, so this is the place where we would make solid fuel, but it's filled up with lubricant. Okay, well, there's an easy fix here. I forgot to add one step. So we need... How do you make solid fuel? Do you make it in a chemical plant? I want to say. Yes. So we can get some of this in and run those pipes across there. Then power all of those guys up and take the belt out. We need to give it some chemical plants. Production. Where are they? There they are. Alright, so we have some already pre-crafted, so I can just throw those into a box somewhere. There you go. You can just have 10 for now. That should be enough. And then we go back up here. And these all output there. And now we have solid fuel on this line as well. And it will go up. And we can just shove it into one of these existing setups like that. So now this is basically just a solid fuel factory. It also technically makes lubricant, but at this point the solid fuel is the primary output, and it is seemingly quite a lot of it. So I need to set all of those to do that. And now all the solid fuel we ever make is going to get grabbed for drones for various purposes because we're basically out. And it was almost a serious issue. But now we're making plenty of solid fuel. This should catch up. Yeah, we have 300 in there already. And now it's a huge demand because presumably just like all the train stations were low on solid fuel. But this should pretty quickly catch back up. I mean, this is pretty fast. I think this is faster than we could realistically use it. And if we check the map, I expect to see a whole lot of drones making their way up here. That is indeed what I see. Alright, so that is going now. How much solid fuel is this? Theoretically, that's like 5 per second, assuming that these pipes are full, which I don't think they are. That's like another significant chunk. So we're getting like a significant portion of a belt of solid fuel out of this. A laser turret got destroyed here. Okay, so we are going to need to connect the drone coverage up there. Otherwise, that'll get stuck. Because that seems to be out of drone range. So eventually that would get worn down and destroyed. So we're just going to put drone coverage in there. And now the whole thing can get fixed. There we go. And here come the repair packs to put this stuff back together. Alright. That's all good. Solid fuel should be hopefully recovering by now. Although I don't know, we might get into problems with our rocket fuel production if that's using too much of it. But this should just be distributing all over the place and not just coming down here. And in fact, I really don't see much coming down here at all. So yeah, 16 of the however many billion solid fuel we were producing up here, like 16 of it is delivered there. Whereas 120 and 220 are being sent out. So this is going to rescue the entire train system, which this one was down to 17 solid fuel. That's terrifying. I'm surprised we didn't have any actual fuel shortages. We seem to have caught it just in time. Alright, anything worth seeing? I do not see any traffic jams. We're losing... Oh, they got some serious damage through up here. And this artillery piece, which is meant to prevent that, apparently just never got powered up properly. Good job, past me, setting that one up. Alright, so that can get fixed. No problem. And it's just fun watching all of these drones scurrying around doing their thing. And this is pretty solid on crude oil. It's not going to last forever, but it should last a good while. And I mean, the solid fuel that we're producing here should give us a lot of time, even with just this. right? I would really like to see a point where there's no more queued because it's all set. That doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. I wonder if there's just a way of seeing the overall logistics demand. Oh, wait. This is what was causing those drones to be weird earlier. This section isn't close enough to be connected into that one. So we just need to pop an additional drone port in to get that connected, and that was the cause of all those weird warnings earlier. So now that network is gone, and we're back up to this. So is there a way of seeing how much solid fuel demand there is? I don't think so. I think we're just going to be looking at how much is available. But the demand should get dealt with, hopefully. Alright, so this is just going along and should be producing more than fast enough to keep up with everything. So, next step, I guess the next step is going to be more science. So, we did military science, right? I think we were doing this mostly up by the north. Yes, we have military science, and it looks like we've managed to produce some of it. Let's connect this to drone network and do the same over here. And do the same over here. Because that might be marginally helpful for getting science done in the short term. And frankly, in the medium term. I mean, the drone network can actually move quite a lot of supplies if it needs to. Not like an insane amount, but probably enough for science. Alright, so if we have up to military science done... Heck of a base for first playthrough. Yeah, I sort of didn't really have a grasp on how much I needed, so I went insanely overkill, and it's just sort of been way too much overkill the entire time, and the fact that I have so much production means that I need to build everything else at approximately this scale, otherwise it doesn't work. So we're just sort of stuck with this. I really should not have built it this large. But here we are. Alright, so engine units for chemical science is steel plates, gear wheels, and pipes. So we're going to have to make those, and then we have sulfur and advanced circuits, and then we can just make chemical science, and that should be easy. And then the rest of these two are going to be a bit more annoying than that. So let's get engine units. Steel plates, gear wheels, pipes. Do I have a square dedicated to making pipes? I don't think I do. Let's see. Do I see anything like that around here? No. Alright, that's fine. Pipes are just plates, right? Yeah, so that's easy enough. We are just going to import steel plates, gear wheels, and iron plates, and then we're going to make engine units. Alright, so we can build a square up here. I think we have enough space behind these walls up north. So let's go blueprint. Train square V2. And how do we get you in? Something like this. Although it's going to cause issues, I can already tell. is... Why is this not lined up correctly? Is it just placing things on the north side, which doesn't work? I don't know. We're gonna have to put that in, and then we're gonna have to do some extra manual work to fix it all up. So you need to go like that. You need to go like that. You need to go there. And I think that's all. Alright, so they're complaining probably because they're not in the drone network. So they think it can't be built, even though it definitely can. Alright. Is that all set up? It should be... Why are there 2 drone ports? Oh, there must have been a drone port in this area to begin with. Yes. Alright, so we need to reconnect this power. Let's see. That connected down there. So we need to connect you across. And that should get the whole thing attached up. Alright, it looks like they did eventually figure out that this stuff is in drone network. However, someone needs to connect that power up so that this whole place doesn't explode. Someone put in that power line, otherwise we're gonna die. Yep, alright. They made it through. We did eventually get the power line connected up, but it's too late. Alright, we need more defenses in this area. Someone just go in and build some of those. I probably just need to get up there. This seems like the sort of thing which is too big of a crisis to be handled fully remotely. Hopefully the drones can at least do something up there to keep them busy. Alright, the number of destroyed buildings has gone down a lot, which makes me think drones are there rebuilding stuff. So hopefully that will at least delay the biters. And then once I'm up there, I can get stuff rebuilt very quickly, and it won't be an issue. Alright. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what happened. I guess the biters just left? Where did they go? Where did the biters all... They were definitely here. I guess... Oh, they must have reconnected this line and turned all of these lasers on. That makes sense. Alright, crisis averted. Can we just paper that wall over there real quick? Alright. We should all be secure. I'm going to just leave those laser turrets in. Just because we're going to need to have them. It seems like I did accidentally cut off all of the defenses in this when I placed this square down. So we're gonna put some laser turrets back in and connect that power line across. Alright, now all of the biter corpses seem to be over here and not over here, so we're probably fine. Probably just perfectly fine here now. Alright, so what were we doing before that all happened? We were making engine units. So steel plates, gear wheels, and iron plates. Wait, couldn't we just... Technically we could make all of this from just iron plates, but that seems unnecessary. We have production of the two other things, might as well use it. Steel input. And train unloader V2. go. Oh, I'm going to have to reset that. I forgot that this blueprint does that. It overwrites the train name. Alright, then we get another train unloader V2 here. Make sure it lines up properly. Pop that in. And you are going to be gear input. And you can connect up to power. And then this, we need train unloader V2. And plop it in there. And this is going to be iron plate input. Alright, we need more arithmetic combinators. Let's craft up a whole bunch of those. Hopefully enough that we don't run out for a little bit at least. Alright, and then we're going to need new trains for all of these. It's important to have enough trains. So you go, and what was this? This was steel. So you get assigned to the steel group. And off you go. That always stresses me out when they seem to almost collide like that. But they've never actually collided, so I guess it's fine. So then we pop this one in, and you can get added to the iron gears group, and off you go. And this already has a train here loading it. I think we have spare trains on the iron plate line, so that's probably just okay. Alright, so first we need to make the, the pipes. Which, if I remember correctly, this is like kind of insanely fast. So we shouldn't need more than a couple machines here. And let's just get all of those powered on. And then we send that down. You can load trains from both sides, double the speed of unloading and unloading. Yeah, I know. It's just like the way I have this set up, it's sort of cramped on the other side. And there's not... I mean, technically I could, like, go bulk insert into underground belt and stuff, but then there might also be something on the other side of this line over here. So it's just more space efficient to do it this way, I guess. Yeah, it's just annoying to get that all to line up. If I had set this up with loading and unloading from both sides in mind, it would definitely help me out in a couple spots, but it's mostly fine. So I'm not too worried about it. Alright, so then we get that, and those are the pipes. So that should be plenty of pipes for what we need, because these are super fast production. And then the gears and steel haven't shown up. Alright, the gears show up, but they're empty, which that's concerning. Where are you? You're over here. And that lot of nothing going on over in this spot. So you need the priority setter. There you go. You get connected to that. You go all the way up across all of these. Oh, I did that in a weird order. The order doesn't matter, fortunately. So you're set priority, and now we need to just just give the drones some arithmetic whatchamacallits. There you go. You can take some of those, and that should make sure that Iron Gears gets at least some supply of plates to do production with. The steel has shown up in the meantime, so that's always good. Alright. So this is all set up. I could have sworn I made a... No, I just have that row, which is hilariously over-engineered. So we can just... I should make a blueprint of this. I'm gonna make a blueprint of just like 3 or 4 machines in a row. And that way, I don't have to constantly be doing this from scratch every time. Making blueprints is something I really need to get better at doing. Alright, so this gets inputs, this gets inputs, this gets long inputs, this gets long outputs, and then we just have to sort of spam a billion of these guys everywhere until it works. And then we make that a blueprint, and we can call this 4 assemblers. Brilliant name. See, anything that we don't want to get in there, no, it looks fine. So now, instead of having to do that from scratch every time, we can just do this. And that should probably be enough. So this gets engine units. Yeah, okay, these aren't the fastest machines in the world, but they're also not, like, painfully slow, so one good line like this will probably be enough, hopefully. So that, actually we need to plan this, so this needs to go over to this one, so that the steel can go in the far left one, and the pipes can go in the right one. Alright, gears still failing to be produced. Everything else is here. We're just waiting on the gears. Alright, that's a bit close to that for clarity, but it's fine. Entity is missing repair packs. Are we out of repair packs? Or is that drone port not connected? Yeah, okay, that drone port just isn't connected. Alright, off you go. And now you have repair packs, probably. Cool. Alright, so we've got pipes, we've got steel. We are waiting on the gears. So in the meantime, we can call this engine unit output. Save that. Give it a train limit of 1. And find, where's this? There we go. Alright, so that goes in there. And then we do that little bit and send this belt in. No, don't go that way. Go this way. There we go. So that'll be engine units supplied once the gears show up, which could be a while. Although we do have plates here. So we are filling up a train with gears. I just don't know where exactly this is going to go. There are probably other places that use them. So this is one of the ones that Oh, either 5 seconds of inactivity or full cargo. I don't like the 5 seconds of inactivity. Let's go. Or that. Take that out. So that will get that going with reasonable sized cargoes, but also not just going to sit there forever. And hopefully the iron plates can hold up, and this will go somewhere useful. Alright, so this is still technically getting built, but I've done everything that I need to do up here. So, next step is, I guess, just go one step to the east and build our science packs. We might as well have it all built in. No point waiting around. Alright, so we do that. We do that. Not gonna connect properly for some reason. Alright. So this power pole needs to go. And we need to connect that across. So that should unstick that train. And then we go over this way. And that connects across. Alright, so now we've got all that. And have we managed to make more weird isolated drone sections again? What are you guys doing? Ah, so this bit up here needs to be properly connected. There must have been a drone port somewhere in there that got overwritten at some point. We can just pop that back in, and then it's all fixed. Okay, so we need to... Yeah, so the defenses over here also get overwritten. And there's a whole line of laser turrets here that no longer exists. And we're just going to pop those back in. And it's a bit dicey getting this spot defended. This should be one of the spots where you can put gates, right? Across tracks. Yeah, so that will help. The fact that this fits in just like exactly perfectly is kind of annoying. Because if it fit in slightly less perfectly, then we would just tear it down and fix it. Okay, gears have shown up. That's good. So we've got gears. Don't have a lot of them, but this also doesn't really use all that many compared to how many gears you can potentially make or use. So these are now all going to be working and making us some engine units. So now we just head over here and do our chemical science, which is sulfur, advanced circuits, and engine units. We already have sulfur and advanced circuits. So this goes in there, and you get to be a sulfur input. Congratulations. I think you might be the first sulfur input with the priority thing, so you're going to get all the sulfur for quite a while. Then we get another one of you, and that goes in. This is going to be advanced circuits, or what I call them, red circuits. Yeah, I call them red circuits. Red circuit input. There we go. And power that up. And then we go over here, get another train unloader, pop that in. And you are going to be engine units. Oh, we have to actually make a new one because we don't have those yet. Engine units, input. Alright, so that is all set up. Now we just need the trains. There's got to be a way to automatically make trains. I don't know what it is. 2, 3, 4. Alright, so then this train is going to be assigned to the engine units group, which is a new group that I just made. It gets the helpfully named test interrupt, which makes it go to an out-of-the-way station if it can't get anywhere. Then it goes to input, and no, not explosive shell output, that's a misclick. Engine units output. So input until empty cargo, output until full cargo or 120 seconds. And set you to automatic mode, and off you go. Alright, so now we can get in an additional train for red circuits. And you just get... oh, you have to click search first. Red circuit. Off you go. And then you are sulfur, which I'm pretty sure I have a group for. I think there are like 2 places that used it prior to this. I should have a group. That didn't get placed right. There you go. And sulfur. Off you go. Okay, that only waits until full cargo inventory, which probably isn't exactly what I want, but it should be fine. So this one is going to be... what color science is this? Blue? Blue science output. And give it a train limit of 1, and I should make sure that the engine units... did I do that? Yes, I did. Alright, so now we can put in this here. And now we just have to make our 4 assembler row. Where did we put that? Ah, it's in here. So we just grab this. And we just start it far enough in that we have some space to move the belts around. And then just pop a bunch of those in. And then this is going to be set to chemical science. And that whole row goes across. And now we just have to put the belts in. So this goes... actually, we can just go this one straight forwards into that. Okay, what's this? Just some drones, probably trying to repair something that was in the middle of being attacked. Drones tend to be somewhat greedy with that. What is this? Don't turn this way. Turn the other way. There we go. That goes out. That loops around and in there. So we're gonna have to wait for those to show up. The sulfur might take a little bit. And now we just have the engine units. We might be a little bit low on express belts at the moment, just in our inventory. We should have plenty in a box somewhere. Alright, so then this comes down and around and up. Alright, so that is engine units supplied, although a somewhat comedically small amount, but it'll have to do. And then we were just going to be waiting for the sulfur, which is making its way here now. Alright. So we get this connected up. And that's attached up to the output. And this should be all functional, and we're going to make this passive provider chest so that we can bring the science down south to where our current science production is, or to wherever our future science production is when we do that. Alright, the sulfur has arrived, and it looks like there's plenty of it. Yeah, good several hundred spare in all the chests. That will last us basically forever. And these can be productivity moduled. So let's productivity module them. Up you go. And we ran out. So we are just going to call in the drones to do the rest. Like that. It doesn't make a satisfying sound, but it works. So that will be more efficient than it otherwise would be, which is nice since we're working with red circuits, which are in very high demand. And really just everything is sort of in high demand. So hopefully engine unit production continues going smoothly, and it looks like it is. All of the input belts seem full. So let's check that the math is good. So this uses 0.04 each, and there's like that much of them. This is like a little bit shorter, but it's producing 3 times as much. So we shouldn't have any problems with that. That should be just fine. And it's just going to be a matter of getting them actually set up on the belts and everything, because they're not exactly huge numbers, which I might want to change. I might head over here and just jam an extra, like, just double this, have all of these that we could ever need. We're going insanely high throughput anyways, so it's not like this is gonna change anything. Alright, so that we need to get this so that it doesn't like overlap the end of where we have space. But if we just do that and make sure that that belt rotates that way, these are now all working. I could productivity module these as well. I probably should. Alright, just to prevent running out and having to move. There we go. Those are all nice and productive. Now they're half as fast, but I added a whole lot more, so it should be fine, and they're still producing faster than these guys are consuming. So we're just not going to be burning quite as much steel and iron. There we go. Actually, can I... Where are those things? The beacons. Are those going to fit, like, if I just... No, there's just barely not enough space. Wonderful. Yeah. So it would be very cool if I could just have the beacons over here and reach into that. But I guess I would have to just replace every couple ones with a beacon. And then we could put speed modules in the beacons. Which seems unnecessary when we already have enough speed anyways. We might want to do that with some of the truly massive throughput stuff. Like, I don't know, the circuits or something. We might want to put some beacons in there to make them go even faster. But, I don't know. This is working fine. The backlog has extended past the entire row of machines. And now we've got some in the boxes. Alright, so let's head down to where our science is being done, which is like... Gosh, where is it? Here-ish? Alright, so blue science isn't the issue. Purple science isn't the issue. Yellow science is the issue down here. And that is the stuff that needs the... whatever those engine things are called. What are even those things called? Flying robot frames. Alright. So we can make production science packs next. Or we can just skip them and go on to utility science packs. Because those are the ones that we actually need for our current research. And they're low-key easier because we just need to do the flying robot frames and the utility science. This is going to be a 4-input. This is going to be a 4-input problem, though, which are like significantly harder to do than 3 inputs because you can't just do a row as easily. So let's do that, since it is. We are ultimately trying to actually get science done, so we might as well work on the part of the project which we need to work on. So, train square V2. You go in here. And in you go. Then we have to get rid of that power line. Connect that across. And then we have to go over here, connect that across, and okay, apparently this didn't get connected right either, so we're gonna have to take that out and do all this. There we go. That should be fine. And in the meantime, the rest of this is mostly built. We continue to lose drones over here. Just trying to repair these walls. That's fine, probably. We're not exactly low on robots. Alright, so this is all going in. The train stops take a little bit longer sometimes because I don't keep them in my own personal inventory most of the time. So, flying robot frames. How are we going to manage you? It's 4 inputs. Steel plates, batteries, electronic circuits, engine units. Do I have batteries? I'm pretty sure. Somewhere down here. No, we did explosives and some other stuff. I do not see battery production anywhere in here, so we're going to have to do that. And electrical engine units, I think we also need to make. So let's start with those, because we have the correct supplies for all of them at least. So that's a step that we can do right now. You get a train loader, which gets set to... Oh, you have to do the search button first. Engine units input. And then we need a train to handle that for you. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you are then set to the engine units group and automatic. So eventually this will get fueled and then we'll be good to go. But you can just have some to start off with, so we don't have to wait for that. Okay, down here we have a train unloader there, and this is what, green circuits? Yes, green circuits. Green circuit input, number 78 billion. There are just so many of these that we need. Oh, why did you stop there? Okay, let's nip that in the bud. We do not want you stopping in intersections. And we also don't want you either. Alright, problem solved. Then we go over here and we get a fluid train unloader for the lubricant. And that goes in like that. This gets set to lubricant input. And we need that to be powered up. And we need a fluid train to deal with it. I don't even remember where my other lubricant usage even is. But there you go, and you get a refueler. And you get assigned. Please say that this is a group which exists. It is. Set to automatic. Given some solid fuel, off you go. Alright, the green circuits have already showed up, which is unsurprising since it would have been priority 100 while it was completely empty. The engine units have also shown up. And now we're losing some walls over here. Well, someone will probably come along and repair that, right? Hopefully. Hopefully someone will come along and repair that. In the meantime, let's add a couple extra laser turrets there, just to make sure that nothing weird happens. Alright. Lubricant is... it's filling up here. And it's got a good couple thousand, so, I mean, that should last us for absolutely ages. I'm getting more green circuits here, which is a good sign. So then we can make our 4 assemblers, but one of them is going to be fluids this time. So we're going to have to change this a little bit. So you get your input from over there. And this belt goes out. Okay, the 4th assembler didn't get placed properly because we had to hold different button combination to do it. So this all goes out. Then we need the pipes. I wonder if the inserters can even reach across walls like this. We're gonna find out. So those are connected up. And that goes across. And that should be that. Once the lubricant shows up here, we'll be able to test if everything is working. For now, this input goes over here and up. This input comes down and over, and apparently a little bit more down, and then in. Alright, so that is that, and the lubricant has arrived. So we just bring this pipe along there and in. Cool. Now we're going to want to copy paste this a couple of times. And just something like... Why did that do that? Is this... I didn't grab quite enough... Okay, can I Control Z that last bit? Just put all that back. So we need to grab all of that. Okay, we also need... We're going to need, I can see this immediately, a pipe going up there. So we copy all of that. Now when we paste it, it should work. Cool, it does. Alright, so that should be plenty of that. Let's then module them. There we go. Modules applied. And then we just load them all up. So that goes in. This is going to need to be set to electric engine output. And given a train limit of 1. Then we just need to set all this up, and hopefully that train will leave now because it's not at the right station anymore. Yep, there it goes. And this just comes along. And once the slow belts get placed in, this will all be done. Alright, we have kind of made insane progress today. Mostly because the biters have stopped being a serious issue. But it's pretty rare we get this much done in one day, I feel. But here we go. We're making our electric engine units. And let's just put in the train now while we're here. Might as well, right? Although, actually, we can't... Electric engine, and add station for electric engine output. And then can I just tell it to go to a made-up station that doesn't exist? Probably not. But we're going to give you that and that. You're going to go there until full or 120 seconds. And then soon we will have the input for you to go to. And this is all going. Gosh, it's sort of absorbing a whole lot of those regular engine units. And the lubricant supply is getting used up a lot too, and that's just stopped there while empty. Alright, so these are not seeing laser turrets. Did we break laser turret production? Did we break laser turret production? Let's see. Go down here. This is short. What is it short on? We've got steel beams, plenty of those. We've got green circuits, plenty of those. We are missing batteries. So this whole belt is meant to be the battery supply. And they do seem to be working, but just not very fast. Alright, so you get speed moduled. And you get speed moduled. I closed the map. They need to make it harder to accidentally close the map while trying to do something else. Alright. So you get speed moduled, and you get speed moduled, and you probably get speed moduled. So that we have enough of that. Because not making new laser turrets is an absolutely critical defense problem. And we're also making some other stuff, which also needs batteries that apparently we're low on. It'd be real cool if the drones showed up and put these in. There they go. So now we're fluid ingredient shortage there, which should be resolved quickly. But now it's really scary, because if laser turrets get destroyed, that's just sort of it for them, and they're not going to be replaced. Alright, so this whole production line is now speed moduled. So hopefully that's enough. Alright, so this... we could place additional rows in here. And if this is going to be fluid ingredient shortage a lot of the time, I mean, we've definitely improved it. There are way more batteries going out now than there were. But I'm sort of worried that we're just going to keep making those instead. The next thing on this line that uses them is, I believe, the laser turrets? Wait, where even is that? It's so sneaky, but yeah, I think that's true. So the next thing past these capacitors, or whatever they're called, that uses batteries is the laser turrets. So if we can get that accelerated up, then we should be fine. Alright, so actually what we need is... this seems like a job for those... whatchamacallits? Beacons. So, can we get all of these with one beacon? No, we can't get both of them. We can get at least one, though, and that'll help. And then we can get we can get both of those guys with a beacon. And apparently we have beacons somewhere that the drones are delivering here. So I want you to be speed modules and you to be speed modules. So then we can go in here and make one of you each productivity modules. And hopefully that will make them go even faster while still being more efficient once those modules get put in. And then we can do the same thing here. So you and you get productivity modules, so you're more efficient. These speed modules should keep you at approximately the same potential speed, whereas these ones will be outputting even faster. And then this oil refinery will be outputting like crazy, because it's just all speed modules all the way.
Yep.
Are your trains on rocket fuel now? No, they're still doing solid fuel. It's just so easy to get that it seems like it would be silly to put extra work in to put them on something else. Alright, so is this now going to be working? We are outputting a lot of batteries. They're just all going into these, and we are still having that massive emergency with the laser turrets. So apparently the batteries weren't producing fast enough, and now we don't have any spare laser turrets at all. Which could, could result in the total destruction of the entire factory if the biters attack and destroy some turrets and then attack in the same spot and there aren't turrets there anymore. So we are hoping that whatever this is doing, however many they need... Can we just, turn these off? Actually, if we just do that, and... just manually disable them like that. Alright, I guess that works. So now they're just going to take the rest of the batteries they want, and now we can send batteries along, and we'll make laser turrets, and the factory won't explode. Yeah, it definitely seems like something which I should have better means of doing before this point, but oh well, here we are. So now the batteries go along here, and this grabs them, and we make laser turrets. It's a good thing I discovered this problem when I was trying to place new laser turrets, as opposed to when some laser turrets got destroyed and there was already an opening in the base. Because I was just like fortifying an area that I was worried didn't have enough. So this should be fine now. And it needs a lot of batteries to make a laser turret, apparently. So that is going along. More stuff is getting damaged up north. But that's what that's for. So it's an extra line of defense out past our main line of defense, so that if the biter attacks get so nasty that they destroy this, they're not in the main lines yet. So laser turrets are... I probably just missed a laser turret being finished. And it's grabbing more. And it's just kind of slow. So the way to fix it being kind of slow is to make it faster. And also to upgrade it. There we go. I don't think now that we have the batteries here, it doesn't look like that's the issue. Although we might want to make that a speed loader so that we don't miss any. And then this will go a lot faster. Like that. Boom. Laser turret instantly gets grabbed and off it goes. And now we are cooking. Now we are absolutely cooking up laser turrets. So that's set to store a single stack, which should be fine. And we can just ignore that now. It should be fully operational. Alright, so now, back to what we were doing. We've got our electric engines, which seem to be doing just fine. So, the next step is batteries, funnily enough. We need to produce some of those up here, which are iron plates, copper plates, and sulfuric acid. So let's head over here, and this is going to be the last square on this row because we're about to run into the ocean, and I have landfill. I don't want to use that much landfill. So we can landfill to deal with just like this one corner, but having to put an entire square entirely over the ocean seems awful. Alright, we still have these problems, which I feel like we didn't always have them with this. I feel like this same blueprint had worked at some point in the past, and now it doesn't. But that gets connected across, as does this. Or it might just be that I'm not holding the right buttons or something. Who knows? Stuff can get weird sometimes. Alright, why is none of this connected? It's because that power line hasn't been placed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you did at some point. But here we are. Alright. These laser turrets are now interior, so they don't really need to be powered up, but I guess I will anyways. Alright, so that is in. Looks like the last bit of this are getting the train tracks. Oh, nope, they gave up and went to charge. Because of course they did. Alright, so batteries, it was iron plates, copper plates, sulfuric acid. So we pop that in, and that can actually just be copper plates, which is convenient. So that, and then we get all of these. And then this is in the copper plates group. Set to manual, and it'll go there eventually. And we come down here, and we put this in like that. So that whole thing gets built. This is going to be iron plates, so we're going to have to rename it. Yet another one of those. And that, and 1, 2, 3, and 4. And set you to the correct name. And automatic mode, so once you get fueled up, you will be off. And then this one is sulfuric acid, so it is a fluid train unloader instead. When it was rotated correctly the first time. So we get that. We get the refueler. And you get set to sulfuric acid input. Alright, power connects across. And... oh, no, wrong one. Gotta be this kind of wagon. So that goes up. Then we add this to the sulfuric acid group. And set it to automatic. Alright, now they're doing the thing where they're in the stop, but they don't get fueled because they're not technically at the stop. So we're just gonna pass some of that along. And we're going to pass some of this along, just enough to get it going. When it stops at any stop, it'll get fully refilled. And there you go. Alright, so those three are off. Other trains just immediately showed up to deliver the iron plates. These pumps still haven't shown up. Apparently they're coming, but not being quick about it. Alright, wait, can I still have this in my clipboard. Thank goodness. So, we're going to have to swap the recipe to battery. Where is battery? Battery is in here, right? Am I missing something? Oh no, it's in a freaking chemical plant, isn't it? I knew that. Alright, so that has to go out. And actually, what size is a chemical plant? It might fit in the same footprint. Yeah, it might fit in the same footprint. We might actually be able to use this and then just replace those with chemical plants. Yes, we can. Although the... oh no, this is pointless. We don't need to do this. The inputs and outputs are in different spots, so it's not helpful. So these can go in. You get to make batteries. And you get that. And then this really feels like it should be an assembler recipe because it only has one fluid input and two solid outputs, or solid inputs and a solid output, but I guess they can make it this if they want. Alright, so you get output to this side, I guess. And then those are all connected up. And you get these. And these... It's not quite symmetrical because I misplaced the last one, but that's fine. I don't care. Then we get the power poles in. And let's see, connect the whole thing up. And we're good. Alright. Is this a lot of batteries? Not really. So let's get... Do I have productivity modules? Yes, I do. Here they are. We do that. And we copy and just paste this a couple of times. Get a good solid row out of it. I probably needed to hold down some button in order for that to work. Something probably didn't get overwritten correctly. But that's fine. Alright. Now we just have to send these belts in like that. That's the iron. And no, get placed correctly. Thank you. I wish there was a way to just have drone placement as the default. Alright, then that goes in like that. That's the copper. Sulfuric acid showed up at some point. So, pop that in. And good to go. So now we get the 4-train speed loader, which is hilariously not the fastest loader I have, despite the name. Oh, this is cramped. Yeah, it's the default in the map. Yeah, I need to do that more. I do that sometimes. Alright, we apparently got not quite enough space. Can we can't do that. I figured we couldn't. We're gonna have to take down the last one of these and pop that in. Alright. Oh, we need to rename this, otherwise we could cause a catastrophe. This is battery output. Train limit 1. There we go. And then those can be in like that in case we need the batteries somewhere else. 15 damage stuff. What's going on over there? Okay, that's a combination of this wall being hit and then something down here. This wall. Okay, that's fine. I still don't know why they're going there and walking straight past the crude oil refining. That, like, I guess there's more pollution in here, so they'd want to do that, but, I mean, it's right there. Come on. Alright. Anyways, this is almost set up. And I think we need a buffer chest somewhere in this vicinity because I don't have the slow belts in my regular thing, in my inventory anymore. Which means that they aren't stored in like any of my other buffer chests. Spider robots? Huh. I guess that's... I should make those. I researched those and I was like, oh, I'm going to make one, and then I didn't. Alright. It requires 20 billion different things. Of course it does. So first we need a fish. I'm pretty sure I have fish somewhere. Where would they even be? Alright, give me a fish. Alright. Apparently I have no fish in logistic storage. And also that's not gonna work having both of those at the same time. Alright, so how do you actually grab a fish? Do you just Like, does it happen with landfill or something? Hello, fish. There we go. Ah, I found it. Alright. Fish acquired. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. What are they doing here? They always just walk past the weirdest stuff. Please go away. Oh, I'm stuck in a puddle of acid. There we go. Alright. Well, that was terrifying. Fortunately, it happened like 5 inches away from us. So they must have come... They must have come from up here. Otherwise, they would have hit something else first. So let's just get that whole wall in. And then put some power lines. And then put some laser turrets. Alright, this should be more than well defended enough. There we go. So now we just gotta wait for these last couple power lines to go in. And I could have sworn that would be connected. Apparently need a little bit more. Hello, how are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. You could use artillery to reduce attacks. I have been doing that. Like, I have this guy out here, which is presumably doing that at the moment, but they're just coming from so far away, like what are you supposed to do about that? I need to get the researchers that increase artillery range. Alright, so that should keep us safe there. They could technically come around here still, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. In the meantime, back to Spidertron. How long have you been playing Factorio? This is my first game, but I've been playing this save for quite a while. So, I don't know, actually I can check. Does it say? Alright, well my first save was 3 months ago. I don't know how many hours that is, but I could probably figure out. Okay, what is this? Why is there copper plates on this? Why are there copper plates on this? Get them off. Why? What is going on? Oh, that's funny. That's hilarious. Okay, stop that immediately. They were passing off since the building in between was destroyed. They were doing a handoff and getting across the gap that way. I don't think that's ever happened unintentionally to me before. Well, I think I might have deliberately done a handoff at one point very early. You stream daily? Yes, I stream every weekday from 2 to 5 Eastern Time. Play various factory building games. Factorio and Satisfactory are the two that I'm doing the most right now. Alright, we are going to try to make a Spidertron, and I keep thinking it's going to be in that area. Alright. Oh no, they stole our fish. Alright, we're going to have to clear that request then and go find another fish. Here you are. There we go. Now we have fish. Okay. I did just answer that question, so I suspect you're probably a bot of some kind, or a scammer, or something along those lines. If not, you know, that's fine. Sorry about the misunderstanding, but if so, please leave. Alright, so this, we have the fish. We have the processing units. We need the low-density structures. No, that's the wrong type of chest. We need a requester chest. And we need, what, 150 of them. So we've got that. Then we need efficiency modules, which we have. We need rocket launchers, which I can craft pretty easily. Like that. 2 portable fission reactors. Where are those? Those need more processing units and uranium fuel cells and some other stuff. Alright, so we need a requester chest, 4 processing units, and just grab like 200 of them. And let's see here. What else was there? Low density structures, which we're already bringing in, and uranium fuel cells, which I need to get. So let's pop that in and request just like, not even 50, just like 10 of them should be enough. Alright, so that all combined up should be enough once the deliveries start happening, which is going to be a bit of a journey to get here. And I do want a portable fission reaction just for my own personal use, because it seems like it would be more convenient than the solar panels. So hopefully that will work. We're just going to make what we need. We need to make, how many? 2 of them for the Spidertron. It would be cool if I could just make a 3rd for my own personal use. And then what else is there? 4 exoskeletons and 2 radars, which I have. So exoskeletons require electric engine units, which I'm right next to. Okay, they're making serious progress on getting through this. That's probably not ideal. Can we get a couple extra laser turrets in there in that case? A portable fission reaction? Yes, I need portable fission reaction indeed. That's very important. Alright, electrical engine units are actually just like right over here, so I can just grab some of those manually. Yoink. Craft a couple exoskeletons. Probably need those. Craft another couple exoskeletons. In Pyanodon's mod, you make wind turbines out of fish? What is the logic behind that exactly? It seems very arbitrary. Alright, so now we have to grab our processing units. Oh, can I actually get that turned off briefly so that I can grab all this stuff? That's 1 portable fission reaction. And we're going to need a lot more. So I can turn that back on. So I will get delivered some. This is working, right? If we go down to here, yes, we are producing blue circuits. Although this isn't really set up in such a way that... Oh no, it is. We've got plenty in there and in there. At least we have a couple hundred. Alright, so I can open this up. Okay, it's quite big. But all these 20 trillion solar panels are also quite big, so... yeah. Alright. So we've got that in, and that is going to produce 750 kilowatts, compared to all these, which are like 30 each. So that's pretty good. Shouldn't have to worry about any of that stuff anymore. You could spam more exoskeletons in the extra space to move faster. Alright, need to set this up to at least like 500 or something. We need a lot more of those in here than I expected when I set that up. Okay, they're just chipping away at some walls. That's fine. You have to check these alerts every so often just to see if they're, you know, chewing against something that they shouldn't be. Alright, so we have everything but the fission reactions, the low-density structures. And the fission reactors are not easy to get, though. So let's grab some of those. Oh wait, no, we have to turn off personal logistics so that our blue circuits don't get stolen. And we're just going to have to let that sit for a while, I guess. Eventually it'll get the blue circuits. This is still producing and keeping these at least... I mean, that one's basically empty. They're both basically empty at this point, but at least they are outputting a good amount. So it's not like they're about to completely collapse. Okay, this also needs... I don't know how I keep missing these. This needs better productivity modules. Just the last couple. But it definitely needs them. Alright, so that is going along. This is quite full now. So let's grab all of those. Make a portable fission reactor. Grab another stack of those, and another couple of those. Make another one. And then we need 3 stacks of low-density structures, which we should be producing down here somewhere, if I remember correctly. Maybe I don't. Are they up here? No. I know we're producing these in the new factory. Ah, they're here. Alright, yeah, we've got plenty of those. No issues there. Just waiting on them to get delivered. And then once we get another stack of those, we can make a Spidertron. So that's pretty cool. And then we'll be able to, I guess, just drive that around. And you can also give it commands. You can have them go move remotely for, I guess, for building and such. So I might want to... Can you make these in assemblers? I might want to make a very silly setup to just like make a couple of these. We're going to need so many requester chests. Alright, how many inputs does the Spidertron need? It needs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It needs 7 inputs, and then the fish, which I guess we would just have to manually do. I mean, it doesn't need that many fish, so I can just like fill a box with them and be fine, but we're going to need something like this in order for that to work. Okay, all of the low-density structures seem to still be on the way. So, which of these can we even manage? We can get blue circuits, we can get low-density structures, we can get efficiency modules, and we can get radars. The rest of them we need to craft, so I guess this will be a job for the future, because we need to set up automation for like 4 different things in order for that to work. But for now, we have a Spidertron. Alright. So that is crafted. put a bunch of grabbers on the coast and they wander into reach. That's funny. Oh, we got an achievement for that. Very cool. Alright, so we can enter it. It has a trunk. It's got 4 rocket launchers. Oh, we finished follow robot count 4. Cool. You go artillery shell range now. It's going to take ages, but we just need more range on those. My base is fast? In what way? Like in terms of how much it produces? Because it definitely does produce pretty quick. Alright, can you walk over stuff with this? Oh yes, you can. That's so cool. So with the other ones, they just rammed into stuff. Making that much for the spider build? Well, to be fair, it's not like I made all of that stuff at this exact moment. Like, most of that stuff was just sitting around. Like, from, you know, having just been shoving into receiver chests or passive provider chests for hours and hours. It isn't slow, I'll say that much. We definitely have a good amount of production, like especially for this stuff, because it's so slow. I sort of went overkill here. But yeah, the base is quite large. Alright, so in order for this to be useful, we would need to fill the rocket launchers with ammo. And it can also like be an inventory for logistics, which is nice. Now, it has an equipment grid. I don't know how to... Ah, there we go. You can click on the equipment grid like that. Alright. So this is going to require some planning. Does this require fuel? I just realized I've sort of just been running around. Maybe my own reactor's been doing it? Or maybe it's just infinite fuel? Who knows? Alright, let's make some rockets, because we need those. How do you get out of this? With enter. So we're going to need rockets in order to use it in combat, which are iron plates and explosives, and then more explosives, and then also atomic bombs. It was built with a reactor, it's fuelless. I guess that makes sense. That makes sense, yeah. Okay. So we need to get that set up real quick. Let's just get that, and then it's going to grab from 2 requester chests just directly, and that all gets powered up. So you make rockets, you request, where are they? Iron plates, you request explosives, and then we have rockets. Then we have another one over here. We're just going to do explosive rockets. And this is half as fast. So I want to have 2 of these in order to keep up the ratio correctly. It needs another one for equipment, and it's slow without legs. Yeah, I figured as much. So we're gonna have to do a fair amount of effort getting this all kitted out. Alright, so then that can feed into those for the explosive rockets. And I didn't think this through. The explosive one should send out onto a belt so that we can bring it over to the second line, which actually we can just use this one belt, can't we? So if this goes into that side, And that feeds out onto the opposite side. We won't have any problems there. So then you are going to do the explosives request. Alright, the iron has showed up. The explosives are going to be delayed a bit. And this, I guess, just does both from that one belt. And that should be fine. And then we output onto that and into a passive provider chest. Alright, so once the explosives show up, we should have a supply of explosive rockets, which will be at least something for that. Alright. So we need so much more stuff to properly equip the Spidertron. We're probably going to need another fission reactor, a couple of exoskeletons to get it moving fast, and let's see, what else does it need? Personal laser defenses to help defend it against close-up stuff when we don't want to spam rockets. It's going to be a whole process. So I guess we can just get started. Grab some of these. And some of those. So we can make another fission reactor. I should set this back on. We're probably low on all sorts of weird stuff. Alright, so you get this in your inventory. Where are you? There you go. Equipment grid is only 10 by 6, which is not huge, but it's also not small. So you get that. Then we need more processing units and more electrical engines. So we head over here, grab some from that train. Alright, and this is now running and making rockets. So let's just make a couple sets of legs. And we probably need to make a personal roboport for it to do that properly, don't we? Yeah, probably. Alright. For now, let's just test it out in its combat role, I guess. So you have legs, so you're going to be nice and fast. And then the other thing I wanted was the personal laser defense, just so it has a little something aside from the rockets, which are going to be kind of expensive and hard to come by. Got 12 of them in there. Let's make sure not to go absolutely crazy with them. Just like 2 stacks should be more than enough. Can't imagine ever firing 200 rockets. That would be kind of silly. Alright. Then, I guess I should have a rocket launcher for myself now that I have rockets. I never bothered to build them because I hadn't made rockets. But now that I have rockets, I should have a rocket launcher. Okay, it probably wants a battery, maybe? Actually, if that's 750 kilowatts, yeah, it's probably going to want a battery, because these 3 legs together are 600 kilowatts. Okay, now we're getting to the point where I'm manually crafting a whole bunch of stuff, and it's very slow. I just grab that, cancel those, and re-queue them. But this time I have the low-density structures. Okay, what was that other thing I was building? The personal battery Mark II? Alright, so you open up that, and I have a laser defense system here. So you get those two. And that could be a lot of power if it doesn't get used. So we're going to want the Mark II battery, which is 1x2, which is fine. We're going to have to craft all those other batteries first. And I think we're probably going to want it to have an energy shield so that it doesn't constantly take damage. Actually, do I even have an energy shield Mark II? I do. And I also have a backup Mark I as well. I forgot how absolutely stacked my character's equipment is relative to how much I can easily craft. Alright, so this is all going. We're almost at the point where we make that. I need to go into here and queue up, I guess, 100 explosive rockets. I don't think I'd ever use 100 explosive rockets, but it's a convenient number, I guess. Alright, so we can replace... Oh, no, we already did automatically replace one of those. Alright, so you almost have a battery. You're almost at the point where you have a battery. And we might have to take out like one of these exoskeletons in order to fit the shield in. Alright, where's the battery? There it is. Bop. Battery capacity of 100 megajoules. So that should last at least, you know, if we need to do a big crazy fight or something, that should last long enough. Alright, and now we just have to wait for the shield defense. So I can at least hop in and drive it around. Oh, it's so fast with 3 exoskeletons. It is so quick. Let's head over this way. Apparently there are some biters attacking over here. I didn't put the ammo in... I did put the ammo in the actual thing, so let's fix that. Auto-targeting. Shoot nearby enemies automatically when the vehicle is empty. Shoot nearby enemies automatically when a gunner, driver, or passenger is in the vehicle. Okay, yeah, you can just do that automatically. So you can have some rockets. And now I guess we can venture out, although I'm so close to having the shield. Alright. We're gonna head out. Okay, this, I guess we can repair that. And it's not gonna break anything to have that repaired. It'll just be one extra little roadblock for the biters to deal with. There's a tank there that I don't have equipment to resupply. Alright, how do you... Alright, that did not do all that much damage. I do have like a billion laser defenses, which is helping. But these rockets are not... The rockets didn't really do all that great. Alright, let's get the shield in. There, now we don't have to worry about taking extra damage. And we can just... Oh, I see. You can absolutely spam off the rockets. And it is durable enough. It's not incredibly durable, but it's durable enough. There we go. Alright, so yeah, we need more rockets, basically. is the moral of the story. So let's head back. I expected those to go a lot more slowly than they did. You do just have to fire them off, but it seems reasonably effective at least. And definitely fun. Alright, so we're gonna sit here and get some personal roboports crafted up. That's going to require more batteries, which are conveniently the thing that we're crafting at this exact location. Let's grab some of those and queue up more of those. And then once those are all crafted, we should have enough for a roboport for the Spidertron. Probably. I think that's how that works. Alright, we're just gonna do a little bit of crafting here. In the meantime... Alright, in the meantime, our supply of explosives is clearly not set to be fast enough. You get set up to a very large number. How much do we have in logistics storage? Only 148? Did I not set this up correctly? I see. This isn't in logistics storage. So we need to make these supplier chests in addition to just this one. Alright, so that is that. And once we get this last roboport, we'll be able to craft the Mark II roboport. So that is now being crafted. We can pop it in the Spidertron and then hopefully just be able to keep it supplied with rockets from there. Alright, and here we go. Alright, so you now have that. I think I need to give you some robots. And then we have to set you. So you want to have a stack of each type of robot. And I think those will repair you automatically. And we want you to have a stack of rockets. And possibly multiple stacks of rockets based on how fast those go. But we'll have to see. Alright. I mean, this is set up. It is getting rockets of its own. Yeah, I guess probably we would want 400, or no, actually, I just thought of something. We want this to be 100. I think we do want a supply, because these, the regular rockets do 200 damage plus 140 explosives, whereas the explosive rockets do, where is one? 50 plus 35, a lot less damage. So yeah, so it would be, I guess, a total of 150 piercing and 105 explosives on those, as opposed to 200 and 140. So the regular rockets, actually, we might want to have some of those just for variety. And then, of course, there's the atomic bomb, which we should probably make. It's actually, like, in some ways easier to make those than the other rockets. So we just have to head down to where we've got plenty of uranium. And let's see how the uranium supply is going down here. Have to maneuver around all of these walls. Okay, over this way, and then a little bit further south. Alright, something seems to have gone wrong here. These seem to have gotten mixed somehow. I'd noticed that that was happening, but I assumed it wasn't actually anything remarkable, so I didn't do anything about it. But that is a pretty serious problem. Because, like, how has that happened? That is filtered to only move the correct thing there. This, I guess we will filter it as well to be uranium-235. And then let's grab all of that stuff out. Get that stuff out. And I think we just need another massive line of centrifuges in order to get rid of all of this extra 238. Because we definitely do not want this getting deadlocked like this again. Alright, how is that happening? Because it just happened again. Like, we got some more onto the wrong stuff just now, after I'd all removed it. There must be one of these, like, not being set up correctly. Okay, wait, this one. Is this one the problem? Yes. So these centrifuges output both kinds. Got it. Alright, I forgot that they did that. So, in that case, we need a better system then. So we need to get that off of the belt and somewhere else. This whole area is just very cramped. It's 452. Okay, well, I can make a quick fix at least. So if I just put a grabber there, which is filtered to grab that, then we can just manage it that way, I guess. And then this can just loop back to something, probably. So this should get that done. Then this has to go... Yeah, so this can wrap around over to here where the waste recycling goes. Alright, problem solved. It's a bit ugly, but it works. And we should be back to producing enough of the good uranium. And then we just need to just yoink some of that, I guess. Let's just make that a passive provider chest. So just so that we can take it like 5 feet away over to here and get that in. And you are going to make atomic bombs. So you get 3 inputs, and you get a power pole, and you get an output to a passive provider chest. So this is going to be uranium-235. We don't need much. This is going to be explosives, and I guess 100 there as well. And this is going to be blue circuits. And we can have 100 of those. So now that should make atomic bombs. Alright. Hopefully we can just get this whole system actually properly draining of 238. Like if we can just get rid of some of that stuff that we have all built up here, that would be quite cool. So it does, I think, yeah. Alright, so it should theoretically be fine. I mean, this is actually, this only stretches back to here, which is a good sign that that is working a little bit. This hasn't gotten any explosives or blue circuits yet. Still waiting on those, and it seems like it's going to take a while. So let's just make it extra fast. And we can make it even faster with a, whatchamacallit, a bacon. So we can pop you in, make it even faster. So now it takes like 10 seconds to craft one. And now we're just waiting on the explosives, which should be on the way. They are on the way. It's just taking a little bit. Okay. Speak of the devil, here they are. We are making an atomic bomb. Alright, we've got one of these. So let's pop that in our inventory. And I have no idea what this is going to do. It's going to do a lot of damage, apparently. So let's just hop in the Spidertron, give the nuke to the Spidertron, and then ride it out to a biter nest somewhere and see what happens. And we should at least be able to run in the Spidertron if something goes wrong, since I've made it quite fast. Alright, and I think we might need to be careful not to shoot the atomic bomb too close to us. I'm not sure if that's a thing. Gosh, it's kind of sneaky. Just blends in with that brown background, huh? Alright, so open the Spidertron's inventory. You get one of those. And we want to set you to have a stockpile of atomic bombs and a stockpile of regular rockets. So I think explosive rockets are probably going to be the bread and butter of this thing. Alright, so now we head up. Switch to the nuke mode. And just scurry around until we find a nest. Okay, there's one. Spacebar. Boom. Well, that's efficient. That's very efficient. And it's at very long range, too. Probably should have used that on a bigger nest. Alright. Let's go back, see if we can grab another atomic bomb to just hit one of those big nests up there. Now, I don't know how practical this is compared to just firing artillery from, like, in the base, but it's definitely fun. I'll give it that. Oh, you can just climb over walls and pipes? Okay, this is incredible. I might just have a Spidertron stacked up with legs that to go super fast that I just used to move around. Because not having to worry about any of this nonsense is awesome. Alright. I'm here. The nukes are here. please just move them from there into here. I'm just gonna grab them manually. There you go. We now have quite a couple of them. And we can head off. New tips, Spidertron control. It's been a while since I got new tips. And yeah, so you can command them automatically. I like riding around in this thing. It's fun. So let's head up. Because there's a giant nest up there, which would take a lot of artillery shells to deal with. And I just want to nuke it. So up we go. I'm gonna go past that one over there, because that's not the one I want to deal with. I want to deal with this one up here. Alright, get a little bit closer until it's within range. And kaboom. Alright, that is pretty awesome. And then I guess while we're up here, we can head over here, and it deselected the nuke for some reason. Just fire that off, get rid of that biter nest, and then we just need to deal with... Why did I just fire a nuke? Does it, like, try to alternate between the rocket slots or something? Because I definitely did not mean to just fire a nuke off into random Nowheresville. But, successful Spidertron operation. Pretty much able to just wander around. And we're just so fast in this thing, too. The range on the rockets definitely leaves a bit to be desired. You might be able to get upgrades for that, though, in research. Anyways, I think this is a good time to wrap up. We have discovered the awesome power of the Spidertron, and I'm probably just going to be sitting in one of these things for basically forever now. So that's pretty cool. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Had a lot of fun. Got a huge amount of progress done. We are seriously close to actually just having the researches. We just have to put together the flying robot frames, and then we can make that. And then we have to do a little bit of work to make those. And then we'll have all the researches automated in the new factory at an actually non-horrific rate. And then we can just do a lot of infinite researches, and that'll be cool. So, thanks everyone for hanging out. I had a lot of fun. Make sure to follow if you haven't already. I'll be playing Satisfactory tomorrow, where we are doing Assembly Director Systems, and also we're doing the Christmas event. So that has been a lot of fun so far. Haven't done it before, but it's pretty cool. So make sure to stop by that if you're interested. Otherwise, I will see you on Thursday for more Factorio. So yeah, thanks for hanging out. Bye.